Hej alle sammen. Jeg sidder her på dejlige Islands Brygge i intet mindre end det storslåede IT-universitet. En rigtig flot bygning. Men ved siden af mig, der sidder ingen ringere end Peter Molyneux, som altså er manden, en af mændene i hvert fald, bag Natal. En rigtig, rigtig slem kæl, men på den gode måde. So Peter, Natal is probably some of the most expected gaming accessory, if we can call it that, in the coming year. What is like the vision for you? Where do you see it take gaming?
Well, before I answer that question, what you've seen it, what are you excited about?
Well, okay, for me, personally, on a personal level, the biggest problem for me is that I don't have anything to hold on to. We were at E3 and we saw the whole presentation and the ball play, but I play like FPS games. I like to shoot people online, of course. And where's the gun gonna go? Is it gonna be like used and like this, or? That is my biggest concern.
Well, and that's a funny thing, because you fell right into my trap perfectly.
Yes.
Because I can remember back in the PC days when we, mouse and keyboard, and then we had first-person shooters. Everybody said, "Look, PCs, you can only play first-person shooters on PCs." Because how could you haven't got enough keys to do fast Western switching. The mouse is very quick. You can look round. Aiming is super precise. And then games like Halo came along. They did the cursor adjustment perfectly. They did weapon swapping on the ground. They completely changed the way you played first-person shooters. And what you're doing with Natal is and lots of people, when they look at Natal, they try and think, well, how do I do this on that? Well, really, don't think like that. You should think, this is a completely new medium. It's a completely new way. It's like the difference between reading a book and watching a film. It is, and I could say, when you read a book, you can see inside a character's head, can't you? I mean, the authors quite often write, a person was thinking like that. When you watch the film, you lose that. But films are just as, if not better than books. And that's what the thing with Natal. The experiences you'll have are going to be completely different from the experiences of just holding on to a controller. So don't think of, I'm going to hold my gun because my arm will get tired. We'd be crazy to force your arm to get tired. Think about completely new experiences. I mean, there's so many things that you can, as a designer, you can do with Natal that you can't do with a console. And there's so many, and with a controller. It'd be simply because you haven't got people's hands tied to this piece of plastic.
Like the limitations, do you feel there are any limitations? Because I'm thinking, like, as I talked about the FPS shooters, and I'm also thinking sports games. If I wanted to play a football game, I would imagine myself running around in my living room, knocking everything over, my child, everything.
Now, you see, what you're doing at the moment is you're facing the problems that we designers have faced all the time. Yes, you're absolutely right. No, Natal has limitations. It has real limitations, just like any device has limitations. We can't request you to run around, all over the place. But there's a funny thing is that the mouse, when the mouse was first introduced, when it was first designed and first introduced, people thought they needed an infinitely long desk. Because they didn't realise that you could pick the mouse up and you could move it back again. And it's second nature to us now. Yeah. And us designers are having to, go through that process. So, you're right, is that we can't ask you to run all over your living room. Your living room's probably not big enough anyway, and you probably would...
No, it's not.
You'd probably fall out of a window somewhere. But again, you're thinking... as designers, are thinking through those problems.
Is there any... branch the way you say this is where we have the best potential? Because as we talk about sports games, it has to be pretty hard to do. Is there any genre which is easy, if you know what I mean?
There's a lot of genres that I think you can reinvent with Natal incredibly well. Now, do you remember the old adventure games?
Yeah.
You remember the old adventure, the old text-based adventure games?
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if we went back and revisited that.
Yeah.
But imagine if that adventure game was actually set inside your living room. Those are sort of things that have been impossible to do before.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you feel more like the character in the adventure game than ever before. You know, we've forgotten about those things because those were very text-based ones you used to have to type in, and they didn't translate to the console, and, you know, they kind of went out the window. Now we've got Natal back. Maybe you can bring those up again, which is not an announcement, by the way. It's just me as a designer thinking.
We now can announce.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Gaming-wise, like, what kind of games are you interested in yourself?
Oh, I play games every single day of my life, yeah.
At work?
I mean, I try and stop myself playing games at work. I have to be very careful because it's easy for me to excuse myself just by saying this is research, but I really know I'm just playing. So, but I play a lot of games. Modern Warfare. I played Uncharted 2. I thought that was really cool. I play on a lot of Xbox Live arcade games. Shadow Complex was really cool. I mean, there's a lot of games that I played there.
I think that's it for now, and thanks a lot.
Great, thank you very much. Very good questions.
Thank you.